Hi, everyone. Thanks for clicking on the Saturday podcast. It was your comprehensive guide to separation and part-time parenting made by blokes for blokes. But we've decided to take a bit of a different direction with it now. It's going to be more general discussions about people's real stories, getting through life. Just authenticity is what we're going through, essentially. We're all here to learn. We're all on a journey together. No one's better than anybody else, as I like to say. So we're going to learn from each other and grow together. Is the idea. And through doing that, we'll become the best fathers we can be for our children. Today, I've got a mate who's come in to help me record today, Corey, legend of a bloke. We met in the gym doing some heavy lifting and all that because, we're both pretty jacked, as you can see. Good-looking lads. And, from there, we've been on quite the journey together. I mean, I've gone through some pretty major life events since meeting Corey, and Corey the same. So we've got quite a lot to say, quite a lot to talk about. Corey is passionate about mental health and a bit of an epic tattooist.
Thank you.
Some of his work's on me at the moment, which is good. Probably do some work later on. I'm going to tattoo Corey later on because I'm a tattooist as well, apparently. But,
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, so there we go. Get out, you get the bloke with the crayon and tongue out.
Oh, yeah.
Just like that. Get the Crayolas out, mate. It's on.
It'll be a good one. It'll be a memory. It'll be a story.
You'd be like, oh, when do I get this covered?
No, I'll definitely keep that something
just
forever.
Rep it forever.
It'll be a nice little story. I've got a couple of funny ones like that.
Yeah. What do you got?
I ended up losing a bet with a mate quite a few years ago.
Oh, no.
He's also quite big on mental health as well. But we were sitting in the hospital one day with an unfortunate event. So while we were waiting, the footy was on.
Yeah.
So we decided to make a little bet about Richmond versus Collingwood.
Yeah.
And then I backed Richmond, he backs Collingwood.
Yep.
And then obviously we lost. So I ended up having to get a Collingwood tattoo.
Oh.
Yep.
That's a classic.
I ended up getting a tooth that says Khan the Pie.
A tooth.
And then I went to get it covered up by him, and then he did the whole leg, and then he wouldn't cover it. He left it. It's this little black spot in the middle of the leg.
just with the tooth with Collingwood.
I'll have to show you later. It's pretty bad.
That's gold. That's the most Aussie tattoo.
It is very. Well. And everyone's always like, "You a Collingwood spot?" I'm like, "No."
Tell us about your work, man. What do you do?
I'm a tattooist. I've been tattooing for about 12 to 13 years now. I've always wanted to get into art. When I was a little bit younger, I suffered with home life and mental health problems and stuff, and obviously drawing really essentially helped me lock into that area where I could sort of escape the world essentially. And then just from there, I continued to draw and draw and draw, and I'd always wanted to be a tattooist no matter what. And then when people were younger, they were like, "Oh, I want to be a police officer and I want to be a firefighter and all that sort of stuff." I always said, I just want to draw on people's skin. And so many people were negative about it and said, it's for criminals, it's for bad people. And I don't know why the misconception of that is, but over the many years, I always thought it was bad and I felt guilty for wanting to do something with my life. But as I got older and older and drew more and more, it slowly settled into the fact that I really enjoy this and it makes me feel positive when I complete a drawing. And a lot of people like when you do a good job. And then now that I'm a tattooist, they seek me out and want my artwork, and it's very positive and really uplifting for my mental health. So
it's awesome to hear, man. That is a misconception. It's actually
is.
Been studied. There is a study out there that talks about the link between tattoos and delinquent behaviour, and it's actually not there. What it actually links to is people who are creative and people who are really high in trait openness, so really open personalities, really accepting people. So it's kind of actually the opposite. It's the ones who are as heavily tattooed as us are usually the ones who will accept you at face value, who will look after you and who will be there for you.
Correct.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
100%. Like anybody that comes into my studio to get tattooed by me, there's no judgment, there's no nothing. They all have their own stories. We're all human beings at the end of the day, and we all have our own lives, our own stories, and each tattoo is different and tells a different story. So just having a tattoo on you, like a young mother or something for her daughters, she's not a criminal. She's looking after her daughter. And then there's an elderly lady that want to remember somebody or they want to get a name for somebody. I just don't understand that misconception of why it's delinquent behavior and why people are aggressive and stuff. Like, I'm one of the nicest people I can think of, and you're very nice and polite. And people walk down the street, they hold their handbags or they make it look at us like we're criminals. And as soon as we open our mouths, they're like, "Oh, you're so nice."
Yeah, right. I'm a play therapist.
Exactly.
I have a theory. As to why they sort of lean that way. It's people who are very open, like we are. We think differently to everyone else. We view the world in a different way because we're not locked into one conception of what what reality
We're
is.
very
We're
broad.
happy to have a million ideas and explore all of them and be out there. So someone thinking different, different when you're so rigid in your thinking is
Yeah,
scary.
it
So I
is
think
actually,
that's
yeah.
kind of where it comes from.
Very true. Like when you
It's a
start to
theory.
think outside the box, people start to go, "Oh, you're not allowed to step out of line," because if you step out of line,
Yeah.
that's scary. And
Dude, you even mentioned it before. You said so many people said to you, you can't do that.
yeah,
That's bad because it's an alternative path. It's not the standard go and do a normal job and
9 to 5.
everything that mum and dad did and all of that saw them get the level of success they've got.
Yeah,
It's something that's different. But the thing is with stuff that's different is you can see immense levels of success with it
yeah,
because it is an alternative to the norm, which is to get a 9 to 5 that pays you enough to get by and
yeah.
you can live a good life. But
Yeah.
if you go that little alternative route, you can have some
So
pretty cool adventures.
just that little bit extra. A lot of people, it's almost like jealousy a little bit. Like once you
Mm,
succeed at that, they feel like, oh, you did succeed. I didn't believe that it was possible doing that alternative
mm,
route. But now that you have succeeded, it's almost like it's like it's blasphemy, or like they don't want you to do
yeah.
it. So they continue to try to bring you down and make you believe that what your path that you've chosen is wrong. And I don't understand that.
It's the tall poppy syndrome
It,
that's
it is,
rife in
that is,
Australia
that's
and the
true.
UK. The UK is pretty notorious
Yeah.
for it. The US, not so much. They're the ones that are like really celebrate success and those
Yeah.
people who think outside the box.
Yeah, they want people to succeed. They're always
Yeah.
preaching about that stuff. So it's good.
I think it's limiting thoughts to be in a country that really does, I guess, rise up and I have two thoughts on it. One is that if you really support the working class and you think that's the ideal, it's great because that is the bones of our country and
Of
we
course.
love them. But at the same time, the thinking that it goes along with that, like let's just say, what car do you want to drive? And you say that to someone who's just chilling, just working class, whatever. They go, as long as it runs.
Yeah.
It's like, oh,
Heard that term a lot.
yeah, what sort of house do you want to live in? Oh, just one that keeps the roof over my
Yeah.
head and blah, blah. Well, that's kind of limiting.
It is.
It's limiting thinking.
It is.
Like if someone says to me, what car do you want to drive? I think of the most expensive car I could possibly want to drive so that
You're
I
like
push
out
myself
there.
to get the damn car. Where do you want to live? In a mansion. It gives you that push,
But even if you push that perception to
Yep.
get as further as you can, as much as you can, even if you don't succeed, you've gotten further than the average person, and then you'll actually end up getting something better than it that's outside the norm. So it's actually a good thing.
I think we just gave everyone out there a little bit of a life hack, right?
Yeah.
People talk about this manifesting stuff and all
Yeah.
this. It's not necessarily, you don't have to think of it in a spiritual way.
No.
It's just thinking, what would my ideal life look like and striving towards it? It's just a continual upward aim.
Correct.
And the thing is, they know that emotional states are linked to a goal.
Yep.
So when you're on your way to the goal, if something happens that is a roadblock to that goal that stops you from getting there, that creates negative emotions.
Yes.
But if you take a step towards the goal, you get positive emotions.
True.
So, set a lofty goal, keep moving towards it, and you have a greater chance at feeling more positive emotions to get to it.
Very true.
Yeah,
Very
sorry,
true.
I went on a rant then.
No,
I think we're going to do that a
It's
lot.
good. The
Both
rants
of
are
us
good.
have got a tangent, I think, in both ways. We've got a good dynamic going.
It's the
I think.
ADHD.
Tell us about that, eh?
I've got ADHD. I'm a very big talker. I talk a lot, and once I get on a tangent, I could go for ages and ages. And
Awesome.
I have to hold myself back sometimes because I can see people. They're like looking at me and they're like overloaded with information. But I just enjoy sharing what's going on inside. If someone is willing to listen, and it's a big thing about mental health as well. I believe that if you have somebody to listen, share. Because once you bottle it up inside, you're your own worst enemy. You're gonna make it worse. You're gonna make it, and especially with ADHD, you're gonna start thinking of the worst outcomes and scenarios. Whereas just getting it out can sometimes relieve that pressure.
Oh,
And then
100%.
you feel like there's this big build up. And then as soon as you get it out there to somebody, it doesn't have to be someone you trust, even random people, you'll get to either a point where you feel happy that you vented it, or you've talked about it enough that you're like, okay, I know that I'm saying it too much. And then you stop within yourself.
That's it. Well, that's the thing. Like we are viewing the world through a narrative that we're writing ourselves. Essentially, no one has the same perception of anything of events that happen. And the best way to put that story together is to verbalize it to someone. And when you do that with someone who genuinely loves and cares about you, they'll do a couple of things. They'll listen to it. They'll ask you questions to help you put it together. And sometimes they'll challenge it.
Correct.
Because what if you write a narrative that sees you being betrayed, and betrayal is one of the things that really can cause pathology later on, sees you as being betrayed, but you actually haven't been betrayed. And through verbalizing that to someone, they've helped you see that. All of a sudden, you've avoided all of this pain that could have happened if you didn't verbalize it.
Correct.
I mean, you're right. You've got to talk.
Yeah,
get
you've
it
got
out.
to, because you can literally make it out like you're the enemy, or you think that you're not the enemy, and then someone could challenge you essentially, and then you realize and you're like, oh, maybe I need to take a step back and have that internal battle within yourself to get better.
You know what I say when I go to get a tattoo?
What's
when
that?
I talk to my mates or whatever, I'm like, I've got a therapy session booked in.
It really
Every
is.
time.
It really is.
Yeah, you're talking the whole time, and then you get the endorphin rush from the pain from getting the tattoos.
Yep.
Because, tattoos hurt, but it's that hurt that feels good, you know what I mean?
That's why a lot of people, like, back on the mental health, a lot of people come in for a tattoo as a form of therapy, because some people self-harm, some people do that sort of stuff. They end up using a tattoo as that. They end up using that tattoo as a form of release. And then also, if they don't have people to listen, I love talking to people. So I let people talk to me, tell me their stories while I do good artwork, and then they leave really happy and they always want to come back. And then I see them down the street, always give them the time of the day. And then they always tell me that it's like a therapy session. They can't wait to come back in. So
there you go, man.
It's very good.
Improved service offering.
Exactly.
But the beauty of it with you, and I'm sure a lot of tattooists out there
Yes.
that I've met, is it's authentic.
Yes. We're very natural.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not there doing that part of it because you feel like it's your job.
No.
You would do that anyway.
I would.
Yeah. Authenticity is the greatest gift that you can give anybody.
100%.
Is to just not fucking bullshit them.
100%. 100%. Being true and honest to yourself and to everyone around you it's very important, because if you start feeding people a lie, you have to keep up the lie, and then you come undone, and it's just no point. You might as well be as fully authentic and as full transparency, so that people get to know who you are as a person. If they don't like you, that's fine. If they do like you, then you've made a good friend, and you know that you've been truly honest to that person. So
that's it. It's
create genuine connections.
Genuine connections.
Correct.
I like it. Yeah, exactly right. Because if you live in a lie, who are you?
Exactly.
Whose life are you living? Is it your own?
It's not your own. And so many people out there have this incessive need to be wanted, and I get it. Everyone wants to be wanted. Everyone wants to be loved. Everyone wants to feel special in some sense in this world, because there's so many people these days. But they sometimes feed the lie. If you don't feed that lie, the people you have around you are genuine. Like, it's going to be genuine.
Yeah, there's an interesting theory on that I like to sort of look at. It's been described by a couple of different psychs over the years, but I'm just going to put it in the best terms I can think of.
I'd love to hear it.
You have your soul on the inside that sits in here, and then you have your external personality that you present to the world. The soul is who you authentically are. The external personality you present to the world is formed by the world externally. The soul's internal. The thing you present is external.
Yeah.
And that isn't always in alignment with who you are.
Correct.
Internally, because if you're forming something external, after a few hurts, after a few betrayals, after a few really, intense events, this facade, this person on the outside can become quite hard.
Of course.
Can become a liar, can feel like they're not enough. All those things that happen.
Exactly. Villains aren't born, they're made.
Yeah. That's exactly. A good conceptualization. You become that on the outside. That's also a theory of midlife crisis.
Yes, true.
It's when your external self that you've presented for years and years and years really stops being in alignment with your internal self, and the fatigue of that starts to get to you. So people, when that happens, do one of two things, right? They buy the motorbike. They go to Thailand. They do all the crazy behaviors that you see the sort of midlife crisis people doing, because what they're doing is doubling down on the external self that they've been presenting. They're like, this is uncomfortable. I'm going to double down on the external self.
To make myself feel like it's real.
To feel like this is what I am, and I know who I am, and I'm okay, because it's a crisis of self, right?
True.
Or you see the people who they may go into spirituality, or they may calm right down. Yeah, they start really going more internal. Yeah, they're not out there. They don't buy the motorbike. They don't do all the crazy weird behaviors that people do in the midlife. They go internal, and they bring the two together into unity. They have a big change, and they become that. You know those older people you come across that are super calm.
Yep.
And they might be going through hell, and they're just sitting there going, this happens.
Yep, they're always that rock, and you're like, why are you so calm through that situation? Like, things could be raining down on them in the background, and they're just like,
They're the ones who had the midlife crisis, and they brought the two together, and they became the actualized self. Self-actualization you hear all the time. That's kind of as close as a lot of people get to it, is when they sort of bring that together.
It's quite wholesome when you think of it that way.
Yeah, I'm having it now. I'm having the crisis of the two selves, trying to get them to work together.
And you're like, I need to do this, I need to do that. It's like a Rubik's
Buy
Cube.
motorbike now. Get more tattoos, buy motorbikes.
The arseless chaps. Like
yeah, definitely arseless chaps. I don't know how people ride motorbikes without arseless chaps.
Yeah, it's just uncomfortable at that point.
Yeah, exactly. Like, how do you feel the ride properly? You don't get the same feedback from the seat.
Yeah, leather on leather or skin on leather.
Title of your sex tape. Michael Scott.
That's great.
Good reminding.
Yeah, stay hydrated.
Oh, yeah, man. Yeah, that's crazy. Anyway, I waffled again.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you think really gave you the drive that you have and that passion for helping people with their mental health? Because to me, when I speak to you, it's beyond just being a tattooist and beyond talking to people that come in and helping your mates and all that. It seems to be a passion that's beyond that. Where do you think that comes from?
I've done a lot of searching, and I feel like more lately I've come to the realization that it's internal. I've had a lot of battles over my years, just with people and in senses and relationships and stuff, and things haven't turned out how I've expected it. And obviously expectation is the thief of joy.
Yeah.
So I've learned to not expect anything anymore. But the mental health comes from like just my life in general, having bad ups and downs. And because I feel that way inside and I feel really down and depressed and clinical depression and all that sort of stuff, I've been medicated. I've gone through everything. I've had I don't know if I can say it, believe it, but I've gone through the suicide attempts. I've gone through the crying. I've gone through the screaming. What have I done? My dad wasn't present. I've had a lot of bad things, as we can get to some of it. But pretty much the reason that I do it is because I truly love people and I don't want anyone to feel the same way as I feel. So if I can do anything to help, like I donate time, I do things to people, I help out with homeless, I donate food, I do a lot of things for people. I'm always talking to people, but I think that the reason that I'm so big on mental health is because there's something that I can do. People were there for me sometimes and it did help me, and I do care about people so much that I think that if I can be there for them, they won't feel as bad anymore. So I think it's more that conception of like I get a good feeling out of helping somebody else. It's not because I want to gain anything. I just do it because I do it. I don't expect anything. I don't expect any money. I don't expect a thing. I'll just do it free off my heart because I genuinely believe that people shouldn't suffer.
It's a beautiful thing. What that is to me is when you go through absolute hell in life, and we are all going to have to face an absolute storm.
Correct.
Fucking shit show at some point.
Correct.
Of things that we didn't think were there. I mean, evil exists, whether we want to acknowledge it or not. And if you haven't had it and run in with it yet, lucky you, but you're going to.
Yeah.
So it's going to happen.
Some form, and everybody's perceptions is different, but at some point.
And then you have a choice when that happens. Sometimes things happen that are so terrible and so unexpected, a betrayal that's so shocking that hits you that it makes you look at the world through different eyes. You can become bitter and
100%.
sad and angry at the world, closed off, all of those things. You're a person that's gone through all of that and you went the other way. You decided not to be those things. You have every reason to be bitter and sad and angry, and you're not doing it. So that's a lesson to everyone out there, is that you do have a say in this.
You do.
It's not that there's no reason for you not to be sad, bitter, or angry. There's every reason.
100%.
But the best of us are the ones who decide not to.
Correct. If you have that empathy for your fellow man or fellow human being, why would you choose to go and harm that person or choose to bring them down or do something negative towards them? Then you're just becoming as bad as them. Yes, I've had some horrible things happen to me. Yes, I've had some things to the point that have, like, I feel personally from my experience that it's ruined me mentally and I never thought I could recover. And you are right. Like, I felt like I wanted to get back at people. I wanted to be evil. I wanted to do these things, but they're just thoughts. Putting them into action is not what I would do. I could never possibly conceive hurting somebody or doing something negative to them. Yeah, there's people that I don't get along with, but I still give everyone the time of day. And there's no point in going evil. You should do as much as you can for people, because at the end of the day, would you much rather turn around when your life's coming to an end, knowing full well that you stepped over people or used them as a stepping stone to get to a point further in your life? Or would you much rather turn around and go, I was a really good person?
Yeah, I tried.
Yeah, exactly.
All we can do is try. We're going to hurt people.
Correct.
I mean, you're
It's a
going to be
learning
the villain
process.
in someone's story.
Correct.
It's just what happens. Sometimes you need to be.
Yeah.
Because there's some pricks out there
There
who
is.
need, it's a bigger prick who's a nice guy that sorts them out. So you're the
Yep.
villain in that guy's story.
There's always a villain in someone's story.
You have to have your own moral compass that you stick to, your own set of beliefs. It's easy for me as I'm a Christian, but for others, you have to develop something that has you living a good and just right life, that reciprocal respect for other people.
Correct.
What you said essentially is, you see yourself in other people.
I do.
You love other people.
I do.
I mean, despite of what's happened to you and what you may have done, you've decided to go that way.
Correct.
Which
Like
is
I've
just
been really
awesome,
hurt.
man.
Thank you. I appreciate it so
Yeah.
much. Like, it's very hard. There's, like I said, there's times.
Yeah.
Some of the relationships, I'm not going to say anything too bad, but
We fall down, man. I'm with you.
yeah, the relationship things really get me. I always try to put my all into a relationship. I love really hard. I give everything. And I know you yourself, you're quite the kind of person that would just give and give and give, even at the cost of your own self, which ultimately isn't the greatest thing. It can really put you in a position where you could get hurt, but we still do it anyway because we care.
Yeah, and it's that discernment that I'm learning now as an older person to not be naive as well. It's okay to have that idea of like being a person that does give a lot of themselves to your community and around, but if you do it naively, that's when you get destroyed.
If you don't think about it and just give willy-nilly, someone is out. Someone's going to take advantage.
Someone will get you.
There's always somebody out there.
Yeah, so that's discernment. That's what I'm working on.
That's why I like psychology, like what you used to talk about, like understanding people and understanding how their brains work. And like, it's not to do with control or anything. It's just a nice little precedent to understand what that person's going to do to you so that then you can behave accordingly. And, I'll give this person more of my time because they're going to treat me right. I've realized this person isn't nice for me. I won't give them my time. Yeah,
it does help. It does help. And just little things that can help that internal journey that we've all got to take of who are we going to be?
Correct.
What are we going to do?
Yeah,
how do we interact in the world?
Yeah.
There's always a couple of choices there.
There is.
So we're trying to make the best ones we can.
It's that fork in the road. When you come to that fork in the road, what way do you want to go?
Yeah. 100%.
What would you like to look at yourself later on in life? How would you like to look back at your younger self and say, I wish I was this person?
Yeah.
Because we only get one chance.
Yeah.
So
yeah, touche. My gosh.
Exactly.
A couple of run-ins with the end.
Yeah.
Yeah. The old cancer and that coming in.
Yeah,
Put
true.
everything into perspective, that's for sure.
The same thing for you. You could
Yeah.
have gone down a bad path because of what's happened to you as well, but you chose to be a very nice person and turn this into a positive thing with your book and with what you do and like going to the gym and stuff like that, being a really positive person. You've helped me a lot by talking to me. You even rock up just to talk to me at the shop sometimes, just to check in mentally wise. That's a really good thing for people.
Thanks, man. I figured I'm learning. I've been humbled. I don't think that I have anything particularly special to offer. I did this to help me too.
Yeah.
And I'm learning. That's the thing. These podcasts are evolving and changing every time I do one.
Yeah.
They're a different discussion every time because everybody out there who's tuning into these and is consuming it is seeing somebody authentically just trying to work out how to live a better life and be a better person.
Yeah, you have a vision and you're feeling your way through it.
Yeah, so I want to do it alongside other people.
It's good, man.
Why I decided to do it, I think.
Build a small community.
Yeah, I think so. We can all do it together. Yeah, drop it into the shop, man. I just like talking a bit of shit with you.
It's good,
It's
bro.
good fun. Just swing past and just, sling some nonsense.
Yeah, it's always good.
Good fun.
Yeah, it's what I like every day. I've always said that I wanted the shop to be a safe space and be creative. Like if you're in a bad mood, you're not going to want to draw pictures. Like I've got to permanently mark somebody's body for the rest of their life. If I'm not in a good mood, they're not going to get the best of me. So I try to be nice to everyone happy, because then I'm always going to do a good job.
Yeah, man, you do.
Yeah, thank you.
It's bizarre how much it doesn't hurt when you tattoo me. Like, this is just because we're talking shit.
Just
like,
randomly. I said that yesterday. My client yesterday. I was
realise.
talk. And she's like, I didn't even feel it.
As
soon as I went quiet, she's like, I feel it now.
Yeah.
So you are right.
It's genius, man. Like, distracts you from it.
Yeah, my own numbing cream.
Yeah, because I did, what was that, like 3 hour chest piece?
Yeah.
Like recently that we did. And I didn't even feel it.
Yeah, no numbing cream, no nothing, just went for it.
That's a funny story. Your poor apprentice. Corey's got this, a young apprentice just started with him, and the poor darling had to shave me. I'm a hairy bloke too.
Just to learn how to do all these things.
How to shave a hairy dude's chest.
That was funny.
I felt so bad. I'm like, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but I actually feel a bit better that you do it and not Corey because that'll change our friendship.
Yeah.
But then you had to do a bit.
I had to do just a little bit to catch up. Yeah.
So confession to everybody out there, Corey has shaved my chest. He was so gentle.
Yeah, it was nice. I've been doing it for quite a few years. I'm used to shaving men now.
It's just the unspoken things that happen in the trade.
It's the shaving, and then it's the real weird one is afterwards when you have to rub all the Vaseline in. That's the weird one, especially around the nipples. I
didn't even think about that.
No, like everyone does it. And I'm sitting there rubbing them down, and they always make the same joke. Oh, I get a free massage. You're like,
yeah. We went on a journey together with that.
Yeah. It's a good journey.
You're never going to think about it the same now. You're going to be shaving like me, like, oh, fuck it up.
Yeah, remember this time? Remember this?
The bloke gave me all that shit for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's a good day. I enjoyed that.
It was nice. It's always good having you in.
Yeah, we always have a good time.
We'll end up letting you do something on me for once.
Yeah, mate. I've got to tattoo everyone in the shop.
You're going to come in?
Yeah, mate. What we'll do is we'll tell them I'm really good.
Yeah.
And then they'll be calm and happy. And then I'll just feel like I'm good.
Yeah, because it's, what is that? It's conception of fake it till you make it.
Yeah, fake it till you make it. Exactly right.
There's a lot of people out there that do that.
Mate, you give me a Crayola and a piece of paper. And I'll just fucking...
I can see that. I can definitely see that.
Yeah, I wrote a book. I didn't draw any of the pictures in this book, in fairness.
It is a very good book, though.
Thanks, man.
I really like it.
Yeah, I just wanted to...
As a father myself, it's a very nice book.
Yeah, true. Hey, tell us about your son.
He's just turned 11 a couple of days ago on the 30th. He's my world. I didn't expect to have a child when I was younger. I was too really focused on work and obviously not the greatest mental health, but I would not change it for the world. He's me. Like, he's such a good... Everything that I've done, I've never told him what I did as a kid or anything like that, but he just does it naturally. So you know that he's naturally me. Like, he draws, he wants to be a tattooist. I played soccer when I was a kid. He wants to play soccer. He wants to be the new Messi, all that sort of stuff. He's always going on about stuff. So I bought him soccer ball, bought him clothing. He even started wearing colognes and stuff. He's only 11, and he's always trying to look nice for everyone and girls and stuff. It's very humbling to see that, like, he can be me, and it's like, I don't want him to be me. I want him to be his own person, but he's just the best kid. Like, early on in the days, we didn't have, when me and my ex-partner broke up, we didn't have a very set routine, which was a little bit tricky because I did want to see him, but also working and her working. We had to navigate it for a while. It took a little bit. She's not a bad person. We get along quite well now.
Amazing.
We have good parenting. She has a new partner, and we all get along. We all talk. We can all communicate quite quickly, which is really good for the kids. So at the start, it wasn't quite like that, but now, after a little while, there is always hope. Even if you're in that moment of like, oh, I don't know what I'm going to do. I can't have like care of my child at the moment. Sometimes it gets better, which is good for me. And I was lucky enough that it did get better. So,
what do you think made it get better?
I was just always nice. I just didn't argue. If we fought, I just didn't read into it. I just left it alone. Some people just have it naturally in them to be bitter after a breakup. They just have that hatred so that they can live with themselves about something. Luckily, my ex-partner wasn't quite like that. She was more just chill about it. We agreed to look after our son together, and it just happened that way, which was quite lucky of me, I suppose. I think that's my luckiest thing that's happened to me is that.
Yeah, it is. It's normal for people after a breakup, if they genuinely love the person, if there was that genuine connection, to have the moment of bitterness and anger and sadness, because you're going through grief.
Of
you
course.
have to go through all the phases of it. And it sounds like both you and your partner, and, you know, forgive me if I'm wrong, but it does sound like you both went through the phase at the start and you managed to find a way to come back together because you put what is meant to be at the top. And
Correct.
That was your son.
Correct. He's everything.
Yeah.
Like, I would not change it. Like, he is 100% everything. Like, he's my world. I love having him. He's a little mini me. At the start, it's so hard because you don't know how to navigate when you're not together anymore. Like, as you just said, it's very hard to work out who's going to have him this week. And that and it is so stressful, and it can ruin people's mental health just from that solely alone. People miss their kids. Yeah, you understand. Like, so having your child can really bring your mental health up. So if people really care about that, if you had some care for your ex-partner at some point, there's no point in, like, keeping them from the kids. There's no reason for that.
Yeah, remember that. I'm right at the start of it still, really. I thought I was way further through it because it's been like 13, 14 months or
That's a
something
while,
now.
yeah.
So I thought it was further along. Well, it actually, in the last probably month to 6 weeks, we're starting to really hit a point
Yep.
where um, it doesn't feel so hard or horrible anymore. I think we're
Yep.
starting to make that turn.
Starting to get used to it, starting
Yeah.
to see it from each other's points of
Yeah, I
views.
think that's starting to happen a
That's
lot.
good.
Yeah, it was a challenge, of course, the co-parenting to begin with.
Yep.
For me, like I'm absolutely addicted to my daughter. I love her more than anything
I
in
can
this
tell.
world.
You're always talking about it.
It's the best thing I've ever done.
Yeah, I think
in
every
the
time we catch up,
world.
you just
Yeah,
on it.
well,
Yeah.
baby's doing this, and then to the point that I wrote a book for her when I was missing her, and
Yep.
and started the podcast and everything like that. It's all I actually something that I haven't really told anyone really is the reason I became a play therapist. I did that in June. Is because I want to be the best father to my daughter
It's
primarily.
good.
It wasn't an altruistic reason, like I want to help every kid out there. My initial, I mean, it is now. That's what this has turned
Yep.
into. But my initial desire to become a play therapist was, um, if I can do this, I can potentially keep an eye on my daughter as things
Of
progress,
course.
and then I can help her develop, and I can just be the best possible father I can
That's
be.
such a good
So
thing.
it really did affect me quite significantly.
It
Not
was like a
having
big
her with
hit.
me 100%. Yeah, because I spent 32 years. I was 32 when I had my daughter. I spent most of my adult life preparing to be a father.
So you
I
always
was,
had that goal in mind of being a
yeah,
dad. It's
yeah.
amazing.
And I realized I was a bit garbage when I was younger, so I didn't do it. And then, I was playing in bands and I was traveling around the world and I was
Yeah.
just very hedonic for a long time. And I thought it's not the right time. I need to just wait till I'm in a position where I can be a good father.
You needed
And
your journey first. It
yeah,
made you who you are.
exactly. And it made me ready for it. And then, yeah, I had it and it hasn't worked out. I made my mistakes in it.
Yep.
As we do, we're all flawed human beings and we do our best.
Owning them is important too.
Yeah,
People who
exactly.
avoid their mistakes are just going to make more. Whereas if you can own it and grow from it, you need to
Yeah.
make mistakes to get better.
Yes,
Have
you
to.
do. And especially the sorts of mistakes like with parenting and things when you make them, they can weigh quite heavily on you and you can
Oh,
deny them and all that sort of stuff.
yep.
But I say betrayal a lot because I have this theory that betrayal causes most of the pathology that you see. Like a lot of personality disorders are caused by
Yeah.
an initial betrayal. And I don't just mean betrayal from someone else to you. I mean betrayal of yourself towards your own values. You have to heal that
Correct.
as well to progress. So where I'm at now in my life is I'm going through a process of going through me internally, finding all the things about me that I don't like,
Oh, yeah.
finding the personality traits that I developed over the years that, I don't want to be anymore,
Yeah.
picking them, admitting them, healing them. It helps I'm a Christian. I pray to God. So I get this space to do this where I
Yep.
have full forgiveness from the person I'm confessing to.
Yep.
I've been doing that and saying thank you to that person. I love you. Thanks for getting me here. And now I'm building a new person.
That's good.
So I guess that's why these podcasts have been a little bit different for each one, a little bit up and
Yeah.
down, because genuinely sitting here now, last one I recorded was 8 weeks ago.
Yep.
I feel like I'm a different human being.
Yeah. You've come to a
It's
journey and you're doing something new and
yeah,
fresh.
significantly calmer,
Yeah, that's
a lot
good.
more at peace, which is good. I think
Yeah,
there was
from
a
last
lot.
time I seen you, you were very, very down, very
Yeah.
low. I could tell in your face.
Yeah.
And then now I'm seeing you happy, smiling. Like it's
Mm.
like you got that little bit of excitement. You've got a goal to
Yeah.
work towards, which is awesome.
It's happening. The storm hasn't subsided.
No.
In fact, it's actually worse. But
Remaining positive.
I don't care.
Yeah.
Because I conceptualized, I kept saying I'm living a provisional life. And a provisional life, I get that from, what's his name? Man's Search for Meaning is the book, Viktor Frankl.
Viktor Frankl.
He called it a provisional life for the people who are in Auschwitz.
Yep.
Because you can't make that goal. So I said earlier before about you have the goal, you can get the positive emotion working towards the goal. You can't make the goal when you're in Auschwitz and you don't know when your next meal's coming, if you're going to be shot the next day, are you destined for the chamber? He conceptualized that as a what was I saying? What did I call it? Come on, brain. Whatever it is, life.
Yeah.
Yeah. So one where you can't make goals. So I conceptualized it like that. I forgot the name of it. It's in the book. Everybody out there, read that book.
Yeah.
It's an essential.
Read, send him a message, let him know.
Yeah, Man's Search for Meaning. It is an essential read for anybody ever. Period.
It's good.
But anyway, that's from that, I was conceptualizing my life like that. Like, I can't make goals. I'm just in this zone where I can't move forward.
Yep.
Provisional life. I can't do anything. But that's never true. Yeah, I can't necessarily do anything in the external world. I can't influence things. I can't go and make a whole bunch of money because I'm in court and I'll just lose it anyway.
Yeah.
I can't do the things that I would like to do in the external world, but there's the internal world.
Yeah.
You've got a whole personality, a whole soul, a whole spirit in here that you can sit down and work on. You can set goals for yourself internally.
It's true.
Like, for me, I was like, geez, I get frustrated at a lot of shit. I lose my keys and I'm like, fucking keys.
And you just get really mad and overwhelmed. Yeah.
So I started implementing a regime of, I give myself a maximum of 90 seconds, which is too much. I'm going to start cutting that down as I go. 90 seconds of, piss. I'm going to cut that down. There's the idea. And for the last 8 weeks, whenever I find myself getting frustrated, I sit there and I go, I don't do that anymore, and remind myself.
That's good.
And there was a day where I counted it. I reminded myself 67 times.
Jesus.
Dude, I'm in court, of course.
Yeah, I was about to say a couple of times I can understand 67.
And, case management for people with complex psychosocial disability. I mean, there's a lot of frustrating shit happens. 67 times. I'm like, oh my God. And I used to let it affect me every time to the point where I'd be like,
and if you're looking at the number.
How did I function?
Yeah.
So I picked that about myself. So now I'm working on that. I've got a goal around that. So there you go. Now I can get my positive emotion.
Yep.
Because I picked this internal goal. And I mean, especially we have to tackle separation on this podcast a bit because we're talking about Saturdays.
Yep.
Anyone who's going through that separation, some of these court battles go for fucking years.
They're terrible.
You're not living a provisional life. You can't interact with the outside world as much as you'd like, but internally, there's so many things you can pick apart and change and get the same result as setting an external goal. You can keep that positive emotion. I've picked up hunting again, which is good. So now my goal is, I'm going to get way better at tracking deer and all that sort of stuff. So I've been out every weekend,
That's good.
Every second weekend.
You're setting stuff up to help you with a distraction so that you can deal with it in life because then it becomes easier. That's good.
Bang, you can set a goal there,
exactly.
Right? So I'm out hunting, I'm going through there. I've started boxing again.
Teaching yourself new skills as well.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
That's the way.
A lot of people,
million goals.
A lot of people go through the court thing and lose custody or something like that, and they're trying to do it. And as you said, it takes years and it takes years. What they can do is they can do these little things in the process because it feels like you're almost paralyzed, like you can't do anything. And this is your whole life now is trying to get your kids back. Some men can't work, women and men, some can't work, some can't do things. It becomes like this full paralysis and they don't want to do anything anymore. And that's their goal. As what you're saying is you can't fix that goal. You just can't. It's going to take time. So in that time being, you can fix yourself by doing the internal work and making yourself goals, picking up new skills, new hobbies, keeping yourself distracted. There's this hole and filling the hole in so it doesn't get wider and wider and wider. It's a good way of looking at things.
100%. That's what I'm doing. And
looking at the edge of that hole is very daunting. Some people look over that edge and look in that hole and it's so big and they can't do anything about it. And what you're doing is filling it
with something that's not booze.
Not exactly. There is negative ways to fill it.
That's the other way you can fill it,
The negative ways is just going to make the hole bigger.
It does. Well, it does. It really does. It fills it and then the hole gets bigger.
And it becomes a void.
Then you're filling the void. God, staring into the void's never a fun day.
No, never. Looking back at yourself and you're like, oh, what have I become?
Jeez. Yeah, that's where I'm at on my journey so far.
Some people make those mistakes though, but they might drink, they might try to find alternative sources where it's a bit frowned upon what they're doing. They might find different ways to cope. And in the time, it's a quick fix. It's not the long fix. So if they can admit those mistakes and move past them like what you're doing, you know that you've done these things. And we all know that we've done those mistakes. We can continue on better and get better and be better people and not be so negative, which is really good. You just got to own your mistakes instead of avoiding, I'm not drinking, but then drinking behind closed doors. What you're doing is you're lying to yourself and you're ruining who you are as a character. You might as well be true to yourself, like what we were talking about, and do these things. Do something different. Instead of picking up booze, pick up hunting. Yeah. If you said doing booze or drugs or something, pick up boxing or anything, even video games. I know that they're a bit, monotonous or whatever, but sometimes that they can give you enough change in your mind in that moment that it changes your chemical structure in your brain and you can feel like you can do something else.
Yeah, you turn it off for a second.
Correct, exactly.
That's what you're doing when you drink anyway. It's just turning your brain off for a minute.
It's a depressant anyway.
jump on Minecraft and autistically chip away at some rock.
To why you got to come for me like that? How'd you know I did that?
Who doesn't, man?
I literally play Minecraft.
Yeah, man, me too.
It's so mind-numbing
That's
that I'm
what I
like,
do.
I'm going to build a house.
Bro, when I turn the brain off, it's Minecraft.
Oh, my
That's the
God,
only
that's so
one.
funny.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
It's
I
the
love
best.
Minecraft. It's the most
Exactly.
autistic game ever,
Right?
but I love it.
Repetition, all
Yep.
that. It
There's
just
also
helps.
goals in it. There's repetition. There's
Yeah.
things you can do at mine. I mean, you can just start blowing things up, but there's
Yeah.
also goals. Like, you got to get diamonds and stuff.
You
So,
gotta get your diamonds, man. Hide those diamonds. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Caves update helped. But why are we talking about Minecraft?
well, it helps with mental health, right?
Yeah, it does. It does. Well, it does. It's a break.
I think it's because I've been staying at the supermarket lately, and they got
Yeah.
those little Minecraft toys or whatever. So it's been on my mind a
It's
lot
like,
lately.
I'm going to turn Minecraft on.
And it's for the kids too. Kids love
They love-
Minecraft. My son
They
loves
really
Minecraft.
do,
Yep.
yeah.
It's really good, like, as an adult and as you play Minecraft as
Yeah.
well. It's something you can do with the kids. Like, if you
Yeah.
feel like you can't connect with your kid because you might only have weekend care, like, you're like, oh, I don't know what to do. Like my Saturday, you
Mhm.
might only have a little bit of care a week, so you don't realize how much time you've got. The kids might be locked in their games. Yeah, it's not a great thing. You want to get out there and do stuff with them. But if you're trying to reconnect with your kid and it's in early days and you haven't had custody for a while, it's still early, just gaming with them, finding a common interest with your kid is really good. If they like Minecraft, play Minecraft with them. Even if you don't like it yourself, it's going to help them to create a connection and a bond and then build from there.
That's great advice.
Yeah.
Meet them where they're at.
Yeah.
Genius.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I did with my son. Like, he's always loved me. Like, he loves soccer. We'll go kick the ball.
Yeah.
He wants to go out for a walk. We'll go for a walk. He wants to do anything. We'll do it. Like, we had pancakes the other day. I didn't want to really. It's his birthday, so I was like, "You get pancakes. Of course you get them, mate." And he was loving it.
You got to do.
He's got a bond.
You're like, I'm cutting at the moment.
Yeah.
Make your pancake. Fine.
Yeah, I've lost a lot of weight now. I'm going to start
Yeah,
cutting
you look
again.
legit.
You look good.
You look good,
Thanks.
mate. Look at us.
Thanks, mate.
We're
killing it.
Like 2 years ago in the gym,
Yeah.
we were lifting big. I mean, we've always
Big
Jeez, we were big boys. We had
Gives me that big boys, big pud. A little bit.
I love that video.
That's such a good video. A little bit of muscle. A little bit of muscle. A little bit of bicep. A little bit of tricep.
A little bit of all that. But all of us who were lifted there, we were all big boys.
Yeah, we were
And
big
then we
boys.
got on a journey. We're all trimming down.
Yeah.
I trimmed down even since the last podcast.
Yeah, you look
I've got,
good, man.
6 kilos down since then. I
That's
think.
really good,
That's the
man.
boxing. It's just like falls
Like,
off you.
lots of cardio.
Yeah, that's what it is. I went from like no cardio, other than walking
Yeah.
with the hunting, but
Yeah.
adding the boxing into that really.
Do you have like a number
intense-
that you've lost weight-wise? Like how much weight you've lost?
Yeah, 6 kilos. I went from 80, I think it was 83 or 84. I'm like 78 now.
That's really
So I
good.
think it's close. It's 5 close to 6.
And you feel better. You look thinner in
Yeah.
the face. You just feel
yeah,
better.
whole face has changed.
That's good.
I look like a different human being.
Yeah, you look good. You start looking
Cool.
younger too.
Yeah.
I've noticed it's weird. You look younger.
Yeah.
It's good.
That's the Botox. I've been riding the bike more
It's
with
the
the backless
secret.
chaps
Yeah,
on,
yeah,
so-
yeah. It's the Botox, bike, leather jacket, arseless chaps. Yeah,
exactly.
That's the goal.
That's how you look young. That's
That's how
why
you
when
look
the people have a midlife crisis, they buy motorbikes.
That's funny.
Callback.
But yeah, I lost a lot of weight too, man. Like
Yeah.
when I seen you in the gym, I was
Yeah.
quite heavy. I was 101 kilos.
Yeah.
You're a short fella too.
Mm.
And now I'm 72, 73. Yeah, so it took like a
Man.
little while, but yeah, very
Yeah.
lean. Just don't eat that much anymore.
Just-
But you
just
feel better.
Eating less, or
Yeah,
how did you do it?
Just dropped carbs, dropped fats, and dropped sugars. That's it. And then just was in a deficit and just went walking.
Just deficit walking.
Yeah,
that's
deficit and
good, eh?
walking. The easiest way to do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, and even my son wants to come to the gym. I keep
Yeah.
telling him once he hits puberty,
Yeah.
and then he can come to the gym. But he wants to
Yeah.
train, and I'm like, it's fine, mate. We'll just do some running. So
Yeah, running works.
Yeah.
Do a little body weight stuff at home. all the
Exactly,
fun
mate.
stuff where he can't hurt himself.
Exactly. I don't want him to hurt himself.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Got to
Gosh.
teach him right.
Yeah, and getting him into the gym at puberty, that's genius.
Yeah, as soon as he hits puberty, he can absorb, he can do all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
He'll love it.
That's why. I'm not picking on your son.
Yeah.
That's why they have gyms in prisons.
What was that?
Well, if they're lifting heavy all the time,
Yeah.
they're full of endorphins, so
Yeah.
less negative emotion.
Correct.
And
correct.
they're knackered, so they're not going to stab each other
Very
up as often.
Very correct. They're like walk around all pumped up, but they're
So-
exhausted, and then they
exactly.
feel good.
So you're about to have a kid with a huge whack of testosterone going through him, who's going to be just like,
He's gonna be walking around like,
all the time.
oh.
If you get him in the gym using up that testosterone,
Yeah.
and he's got that endorphins going, he's knackered. Plus, you're setting him up to be huge later.
Exactly.
Because he's doing it right at the start.
Exactly.
He's going to be like,
He wants to. He
later.
wants to be very lean and very shredded. So
Yeah,
he
sweet.
wants to be muscly. He's always watching gym videos and stuff
Yeah.
too. It's like
Oh, there you go.
I walk past and I hear these little reels, and I'm like,
Yeah.
of course.
So he likes the gym. Oh,
He
there you
does.
go. Oh,
It's good. It's a
geez.
positive thing.
That
He's
is a
not. He's
great
not
thing.
looking at anything bad. He's not. He even tells me all the time. I don't want to drink. I don't want to smoke. And I'm like, good on you, mate. Like, he doesn't want to.
Yep.
We'll see how he goes. But he's telling me all these nice, positive things, and he's all looking at sports. So
I'll lay a
very
study.
good.
I'll lay a study on you.
You go.
So that's scary. It's a scary study. But the thing is, for a good life outcome, people have to take some risks when they're younger.
Correct.
They kind of have to do that little bit of fuck up time where they do 16, they're 16, they go to the school formal, they get too pissed and they're chucking in the bush out the front, you pick them up,
Yeah.
They learned their limit. They
Guilty.
got pissed. It was relatively safe, you know what I mean? The people who have that earlier in life are less likely to do stupid shit later.
Oh, 100%.
It's that whole old adage of get it out of your system.
100%.
Real.
It is.
You want them to take some risks then, because if they don't take any at all, later in life, they hit a point and they start becoming quite delinquent because they missed all of that. They have odd relationships. They start feeling like they missed out on stuff.
They're experimenting. They get FOMO. They all that sort.
And they do it at 35, 40, 50. You're like, what are you doing?
Yeah, what are you doing, man?
You're acting like a 16-year-old.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all know someone like that. It happens. You need to fuck up a little bit. If you fuck up too much, you become delinquent. You probably go to prison.
True.
There's a sweet spot for fucking up.
There is.
So you kind of got to. It's good that he doesn't want to now. You kind of got to hope when he's 15 and his mates, they just down the soccer club.
Yeah.
And they crack a beer when they shouldn't.
Yeah, he
It's
said
the
that.
safe naughty. The safe naughty, He smokes a dart and goes, oh, geez, that hurts me throat and doesn't want to do it anymore. But he smoked the dart.
Exactly.
Just a little bit of naughty.
Yeah, honestly, he said to me the other day that he was like, oh, I might drink one beer. And I was like, why? And he's like, oh, just to try it. And I was a bit like, oh, but in my head, I was like, if I start telling him no now, it'll set that precedent that I'm not allowed to do it. And when people aren't around, I'll do it. So I still set the discipline, but I'm also like a little bit freeing because then it gives them that chance to make their mistakes, like you said, and then they can grow from them. Yeah,
you got to try and I read about this stuff all the time for work, but you got to try and the theory that I like is trying to get as much of a moral compass into them by the time they're 13.
Yeah.
Try and really sandwich it in because, like they hit that terrible twos and you feel like you're constantly going, no.
Yeah.
Because you are. You got to teach them to not do these horrendous things. You got to let them experiment and do things.
You don't want to
take risks safely, all of that. But at the same time, you got to put the boundaries in quite heavily and then you start building their moral compass. You want them to have that compass as established as possible by 13.
Yep.
And then you want to change from, that person that's giving them the compass to the person that's guiding their own compass.
Yeah.
Once they're teenagers.
That's true.
So rather than, the extreme discipline that you might have to do when they're too, like naughty corner,
It's like the Armish people, they do was it Rumspringer or something
I
like
don't know
that?
anything about Armish.
Oh, they do like a thing called Rumspringer where they're not allowed to do anything. It's very strict. And then they get given like a week or something to go out in the world.
Up.
Yeah, and they're allowed to do whatever they want. Some of them don't come back because they're just like, oh, I wasn't allowed to do it. Now I love this lifestyle. And then they never come back. So,
well, there you go.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Don't quote me exactly, but I'm pretty sure that's what
I
it
like
is.
that name.
Yeah, I think it's Rumspringer. Sounds like Ramstein.
Let's Rumspringer next week. Let's have a Rumspringer tonight, Corey.
That's great.
That's what we're going to call it from now on.
Just a Rumspringer.
Like, let's go have a fucking
you want to head down to the Rumspringer? Love that.
That's gold.
Love that.
Yeah, no, you got to try and. So what you're doing now, you discipline him now, fine, that's cool. Get that moral compass in there.
Of course.
And then he's 12, 13, he's going to start fucking. He's going to do all of it. But if you've got the moral compass in him and it's as right as possible, something in him is going to say, oh, shit, I shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, of course.
Or he's going to know it's wrong when he's doing it. And then when he comes to you, you keep it open. You don't give him extreme discipline. You become it's almost a counselling session around it.
Correct.
It's you did do that, mate.
Good.
How do you feel about it?
Yeah, very
Put it
true.
on them. Put
Yeah,
the
very
onus
true.
on them. And try. I haven't done parenting for teenagers yet. That's my next one. Try and you try and counsel them through what happened and work out the lesson they can learn from it and redirect them back on track.
Good.
Essentially,
it's a very good one. Because I think it's don't quote me once again. I just think some things that I've heard, little random facts, ADHD. But I think it's like every 7 years you change or something like that. The structure of your brain or. Most people change. Like you might not, you hate veggies, and then all of a sudden you love veggies, and then I think there's something to do with that I heard for a bit there. And so kids are always going to be changing. So they might be into that now, and then after a certain amount of years they change, and then I think they stop growing when they're about 27. I think it is most of us.
Yeah,
and then,
probably height wise.
Yeah,
that's right. Emotionally and psychologically. you keep growing forever.
Yeah, true.
You
True.
can just change at any time.
Exactly.
And that's one thing I'm learning now.
Do the
I
work
didn't
and you can
realise.
change.
But yeah, you can go internal anytime and change and do all that. I'm going to do some meditations to include with my Saturday now.
Yep.
Just some guided meditations and stuff to add to the website for people who want to do them.
Awesome.
Just about sort of going on that little internal journey I've been doing. Not in a hippie way. I don't know. It's not a hippy-dippy like. I'm not all of a sudden a new age practitioner of spiritual soul search.
We're not discriminating against anybody.
We're not discriminating, but that's not what I am.
No discrimination, but
Nah.
it's just a conception of how to get the feeling for it.
Just a way to just turn off outside and go internal and just start really thinking about yourself and setting those new goals is the idea.
Sometimes just hearing those words of affirmation from somebody that they connect with can really help them. So.
Yeah, that's exactly right. You know, just I want people to be able to take a moment, get that break from the world too. Because a good meditation, you turn your whole brain off.
Yeah,
it's a break.
Yeah, of course.
You know, it's bloody good. So I'm going to start with that sort of stuff. And it might be good.
I was about to say, do you want to do that? No.
Yeah, done.
Yeah, sweet.
No, I need to take a piss actually. So I'll sort that out.
I'm sweaty.
Yeah, sweaty in here, isn't it?
Sweating me ass off.
Yeah.
Anyway.
What do we say? Corey, smoke, Chris, piss. Break one.
We will be whole again, and we will survive.